Hello everyone. Now I'm going to instruct you guys on how to download from this Google Drive. So this is the link, and then uh, we are downloading all of the files in this folder. So we press download, and then over here it'll say preparing to download and converting it into a zip. We are downloading from the Google Drive because having it on a Google Drive makes it easier to have everything all at once. And if you're on Windows, but only if you're on Windows. If you're on like Linux or Mac, then we'll talk about it later on in this video. And downloading the Iligu IDE, the Arduino IDE, would be definitely compatible with what we teach in our lessons because it would be the same version. Alright, now let's just wait until the download is done. Okay, now if the Google Drive is finished converting it into a zip file and is now downloading it. Alright, it seems it has downloaded. Let's open it up in our folder. And then let's extract it. Okay. Alright, now let's go into our folder. Okay, we extracted it into downloads. And let's go into it. So this is the Arduino and C resource. In here, we have the fritzing. We will talk about this later on. And then for the Uno R3, this is the Arduino IDE and the CH341. And then in the Super Starter Kit, this is what we're going to base our course off of. As we can see, there's Dutch, English, Spanish, French, Italian, and other languages. In English, this one teaches us how to install on Linux. This is on Windows, I believe. Yeah, this is on Windows 10. And then this is what we are actually basing our course off of. So these, let's go to a random one. Let's say thermometer 103. And then, yeah, this is a schematic diagram, wiring. This will be one of the homeworks where we have to draw on the fritzing board. And then we'll be able to find the code in the code folders. There's code for every lesson. And yeah, outside of this, there will also be data sheets for every lesson. Let's go back to, let's say, temperature and humidity sensors. For this one, there's 4 pins, tells us that the dimensions and also some of the parameters, like the accuracy, range, and power supply, 3.5 to 5.5 volts, and what the pins are. So power, data, and a ground. The third one is an empty pin. And yeah, we'll be going over each datasheet for the course. And let's go back. Went through this, right? Okay. Alright, yeah, that is what's in the Google Drive. Oh yeah, and before this finishes, let's make sure to move this into our working folder. Let's say this, and let's move this in here. Now, if you have a Mac OS or Linux computer, this is how to download the Arduino IDE and the CH340 drivers. So first, we go onto arduino.cc and then click software. And once here, we can choose the one your computer is. If you have a Mac computer, then click Mac. If you have Linux, then click the Linux. And once you have the Arduino downloaded, you can download the CH340 drives. And the CH340 drives is made by a Chinese company called WCH. And we can download the CH341 driver, which is compatible with the CH340 drivers for the Uno. And here, if you have a Linux computer, download the ZIP for Linux. And if you have a Mac computer, then download the zip for Mac. Alright, now over here we have the Arduino IDE exe. Even this is through the Google Drive, but if you got it through the Arduino website, it should both of them should be 2.3.2. So we click it twice to start running it, and then click I agree, and let's say anyone using this computer, and then press yes, I agree, and then just leave the destination folder the same, and then wait for it to install. Alright, now has finished the Arduino IDE. Let's not run it right now, and let's finish it. Alright, now let's verify that we can connect our Elegoo Uno boards onto the Arduino IDE. So first, let's verify there's nothing on it right now. We can go into the computer management, go into device manager, and then in ports, we open it up and see there's only an LPT and a COM1. So this is normal. COM1 is like the thing that Windows has by itself. And on the Arduino IDE, we can go to Tools and Port. We can see that we only have a COM1. Alright, now let's plug the Uno board on using a USB-B. Alright, now this should update. Now there's a COM4. COM4 means there's a new device on here now. And then in the Arduino IDE, we can see there's a new port. Let's select that port. And then make sure to specify that the board is an Arduino Uno board. Okay, now let's verify this is working by going into File, Examples, and Basics, and Blink. This one will make the Uno board have a light that blinks for a second and then shuts off for a second and then blinks again. So this is the code. To upload it onto the board, first click this check mark right here to verify that there's no mistakes in the code that we wrote. It says done compiling. And now this button is uploading. Compiles again, and then uploads to the board. Now, if you look at your board, it should be blinking. Alright, now let's download the USB driver for the CH340G chip. These are compatible boards, so basically any boards that aren't made by the Arduino or Elegoo companies. So to install the driver, let's run the setup.exe. And then we press install. And it says this is successfully pre-installed. So now we plug it in. So now we plug in our compatible board. If you don't have one, it's alright. So now let's go into the computer management and ports. We see there is now a COM5. COM5 means that we have found the Uno board. And yeah, we can see here that this is a CH340 chip. And if we go back into the Arduino IDE, then if we go into the Arduino IDE, then go into the tools, okay, let it load. If we go into tools and port, we can see that this is a new COM called COM5. And once again, let's go into board and select a Arduino Uno board. And this says Arduino Uno on COM5. Let's check this by using the blink again. Okay. Let's verify. Let it load. Let's verify the code works. Yes, and then let's upload it. So now if you look at the board, it should be blinking. Again, the USB driver are for boards with a CH340 chip in them. Now let's talk about the notes that we're going to write. We're going to write one for every lesson. So what we did this lesson. 1. Google Drive download. We downloaded it from this website, which I'll put on here. It will also be in the description. Let's put a link on this. And then second, we were viewing and explaining the downloaded folder. There were 3 subfolders. One about the actual course, one about installing the IDE and driver, and lastly, one for drawing the diagrams we will be using in our lessons. And then third, we talked about how to install the IDE and driver if not on Windows. For the IDE, go to arduino.cc. This is a website, so let's put a link on it. And click software. There you can see the download options for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. For the driver, go to this website. It will also be in the description as well. There will be download buttons for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS as well. And fourth, installing the IDE and connect Uno board. So we run the executable file and let it install to connect Elegoo's Uno board. First, plug the microcontroller onto the computer through a USB-B to USB-C cable. Then in Tools, click Ports and choose the new port that appears when you plug in the board. Make sure you have Arduino Uno selected in the Arduino AVR boards section under Boards Tools. Then go under File, Examples, Basics, and Blink to test out if the board is truly connected or not. Make sure click the check mark icon to test for mistakes in the code, and if none are detected, click the icon that is an arrow pointing right. This will upload the code onto your microcontroller. Look to see if the microcontroller LED is blinking. And next, for 5, for Uno compatible boards, install the driver, which is this link over here. Install the driver by running the exe and select pre-install. Next, plug in the Uno compatible board and select the correct port and board in the IDE, and you should be good to go. Again, you can test if it works by running the Blink program. Okay, so this is what we did this lesson. And then for the homework, let's take a picture or screenshot of the output after successfully uploading the Blink example onto the Uno board. So let's show for going to the Arduino IDE. Let it load. Okay, so go to File, Examples, Basics, Blink, click on it. And then, let it load. Okay, now go to Tools and make sure this is the Arduino Uno board with the new port. And then here, let's verify that it works. and then let's upload it. So over here, this is what we want. Let's take a screenshot of this. This is what I want for the homework. So in the output, you can have like these things to show that it was successfully uploaded,